Well, we do look good, don't we? We're all very clear images. Everyone's turned up again. Now, Robert, you had a question, and your question was, what can you do if you think you've been defamed? Well, because last week we talked about what defamation was. Well, there's a number of remedies which the law allows. They're both common law remedies and remedies given in the uniform defamation legislation. But it's changed. And, in the lecture I spent a bit of time explaining to people about how gone are the days when the defamation settlements could be very large amounts of money. In fact, what they've actually tried to do is put a cap on the amount of damages which a plaintiff, that's the person who's suing in defamation, can recover. And so that's probably one of the important things. But we talked about the different types of awards of damages, nominal damages where they're in name only. Really it's a view that the person's reputation hasn't been that much damaged by the defamation. It might have been that the defamation was fairly mild, or alternatively, yes, what was it? They were so bad their reputation wasn't didn't have much worse to go. It was pretty low in that case. Sometimes you can get aggravated and exemplary damages, but generally there's been a move away from damages. They've also tried to introduce ways where the harm to a person's reputation can actually be minimised, and that's where people look at these two here. Look at these two. That's where the people can be offered an offer of amends or the publication of apology. Now, that puts the ball back in the plaintiff's court, because it can have a bearing on the amount of damages they recover if they subsequently decide to go to court. So they've got to think carefully about it, deciding what to do. The other one is the apology, but sometimes if the material hasn't been published, you can actually get what's called an injunction. Yeah. Well, that's a court order to stop the publication. Okay, so that's we'll look at injunctions a bit more in the course. Now, a pencil dog an angel learning want to know, what if you think what you've said is justified, or, well, where do you come up with these words from? Well, the defamation legislation lists a series of defences which are important, and the important thing is, for example, now truth is, or substantive truth is defence in all jurisdictions, but what you've got to watch out for is the plaintiff. One statement can lead to a number of defamatory imputations, and it's not what the defendant meant, it's what the plaintiff can allege the defendant meant by the communication. So the plaintiff has to actually be able to establish the substantive truth of most of, if not all of those defamatory imputations, or there's another defence called contextual truth, where it's basically there's the same, even if some of it's incorrect, the essence of the material is true. Then we've got, yes, privilege, absolute privilege, qualified privilege. Yes, in absolute privilege, that's in places like Parliament, members of Parliament, or when you're giving evidence as a witness, absolute privilege can apply there. And then sometimes there's qualified privilege, and that sets out the circumstances where that arises. So I think they're probably the key ideas for this week about the defamation. It's a very interesting topic. New circumstances arise all the time, but I think if you What's that? If you're trying to answer a defamation question in the exam, well, first of all, you'd have to sort of say, basically, has the material been published? That means conveyed to more than one person, otherwise it's just a communication. Does it concern the plaintiff, and does it carry defamatory imputations? And so they're the things. So sometimes it's very difficult to know, and we know the test for defamation about harm to reputation, hatred, ridicule, and contempt, those sorts of things. Well, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, pencil dog. Yes, you are a fine specimen, aren't you? Yes. There's Angel of Learning there. Yes. Angel Learning hopes everybody's working on their assignment. I hope so too, Angel Learning. In fact, yes, I've been putting some stuff up on the course webpage, announcements and links to outside, because the tip is that we're going to get some new law on privacy, which is going to roll back some of the defamation defences effectively, because even though people can argue it's true, as a defence, the plaintiff may be able to say, but nevertheless that's an invasion of my privacy. So we'll have to wait and see, because I think it's exciting times in Australia in this area of law at the moment. So all I can say is we'll say watch this space, won't we? Now, everyone says goodbye now. Everyone says goodbye. Pencil Dog says goodbye. Angel Learning says goodbye. Robo, have you said goodbye? Yes, Robo said goodbye. We'll say goodbye, and next week we're going to look at the obscene and the indecent. Oh, we look at some interesting things in this course, don't we, Robo? We do indeed. Okay, yes, okay.